Look, man, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how hair got into the wood chipper. Yeah. I rented a wood chipper. I used the wood chipper. I gave the wood chipper back. All right? We're done.
Hey, man. GG's.
Okay, hold on. I gotta go. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Bye. GG's, bud. GG's.
What are you up to?
I was just finishing the video up, and I'm gonna post it here in a little bit.
Yeah, I brought you something to deal with the comments.
A full bottle of tequila?
Yeah. Why, you don't want it?
No, it's nice. It's just it's not gonna be enough. Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team. That is not a dub, and I'm really trying to not lose it on this one. Like, I have faith in this team. Let's just put that out there first. I believe in this team. This isn't the end of the series or end of the world. The year before. You lose game one, people freak out. We lost the game one to Washington, then we came back and crushed them. You're going to drop a game here or there. You're going to have bad games. But this was abysmal. This was abysmal from start to finish. And you can point at everyone, coach included, as to why this happened. There were so many decisions made that were horrendous, straight up lazy. This was a bad game. It was a bad game. It was an embarrassing effort. We were listless for most of the game. I mean, even if you can go to any analytics site you want and be like, well, the expected goals, this, that. If you watch that game, like that, the Bruins did not deserve to win that. Not even close. Ullmark wasn't able to bail them out. He wasn't great, but it certainly isn't his fault that we kept turning the puck over 6 feet in front of him with no defenseman around over and over and over again. This was horrendous. And you know what really bothers me? What really bothers me is, okay, so Sam Bennett's back in for the Florida Panthers. They get a little bit stronger. They're going back to Alex Lyon, and we challenge him not at all, basically, throughout this one. Barely put anything meaningful on net and never take away his eyes. But what really bothers me, Bergeron's out. We know this. It's not an illness. Monty was making it about the illness. It hasn't been about the illness. He's out with an upper body injury. Day to day, might be back for game 3. I'd expect him to travel with the team. But he played game 82. And I know we've all talked about that. He wanted to play game 82. It's his last time potentially playing in Montreal. I get all that. But some things are bigger than that. They are. I am all for individual, like, something in your real life happens, you leave the team or things like that. Like, that is always... Family is always bigger than that. But this season, what's at stake? Your last time playing in Montreal? I don't know if that one's bigger than this. And so we believe he's suffered an upper body injury in this game. And we played this game because, and I'm telling you what the team and the coach said, they played this game because they wanted to make sure they set good habits. They wanted a final tune-up game before the playoffs, and they didn't want to let rust build up because if they had not played that game, it would have been almost a week since their next game. Well, we're now 2 games into this series, and we haven't seen the good habits. You can't tell me game 1 was good habits. We were all over the place game 1, and we managed to beat the Florida Panthers because they're not a great team. But we are not. These are not good habits. We can't clear our own zone. That was in both games at this point. Cannot clear our own zone consistently. The turnovers straight up sunk us in this one. We're late on the forecheck. We're late on transition. We're late on the back check. We don't take care of the front of our own net, which is a huge reason we're playing Forbort, even though he's a huge liability in transition, but we want to help clear out the front of the net. You know what we're not doing? Clearing the front of the net. So why do we have Forbort in? Well, we want to play Orlov with McAvoy. Well, Orlov has looked horrible through 2 games up with McAvoy. In fact, most of the defense has, so I don't really know if I can just solely put it on him. But we haven't seen any of the good habits. And we lost our captain to an injury after one period of play in game 82 where we had already set any record we could have set. And it was a completely meaningless game. And now we didn't have our captain for 2 games in this series. And God knows if he's 100% in game 3, if he's even back. Now, all of this seems real negative and angry and pissy and whiny and all of that shit. But at the end of the day, none of what I said is incorrect. None of it. You can look at this and go, what the fuck are we doing? Setting good habits. Do you know what we've done through 2 games? We've avoided contact pretty well. And I don't mean on the walls. Sure, we're coming in and nailing them. Front of our net, front of their net. No one's there. Bertuzzi, the only guy there. The Krejci line through 2 games have gotten completely caved. I mean, we're going to get to all these points. We're going to do a game breakdown, but I'm just going to say it all fucking now because I'm irate, upset, emotional. The Krejci line has gotten caved through 2 games. We are taking our greatest weapon in Pasternak and making sure we cannot use him while we dictate the matchups. You're telling me we can't free Pasternak up at all? And Bertuzzi hasn't looked bad. Krejci sure has. Can't win at the faceoff dot. And we can't move the puck up ice. And we're starting in the defensive zone faceoffs, and just getting pinned. And so Pasta is a non-factor on 5-on-5 right now while we dictate the matchups. We decide who they're playing against in this game, or the majority of this game. And we can't free them up. You're taking away your greatest offensive weapon. And if you look at the 6 goals scored by the Bruins so far, you're certainly not looking at it going like, we have actually generated a good amount of offense. Because that's not true. That's simply not true. And a lot of it does come from being late on the forecheck and late in transition. But it's just been a horrendous series so far for the Krejci line. And we're 2 games in. Not a big deal. But he stuck with that line the entire game. Monty stuck with that Krejci line the entire game. Do you know, here, I'll jump over here. I was looking at it a little earlier. Let's see. For them on the ice at 5-on-5, let's see. Scoring chances, they had 3. They allowed 12. Yeah, that's really not great. Obviously, they didn't score any goals on 5-on-5. Their expected goals for was 0.05, 5% of a goal. Just like all the advanced analytics that tell you they were bad. Okay, well, what does the eye test say? Yeah, they were pretty fucking bad. They're bad. And they kept turning the puck over. And so Pasta's flying the zone, so then he's trying to come back into the back check. That directly led to a goal, actually. But again, that's on the defense turning it over. Lindholm, McAvoy, Orlov, none of them can get their footing in this series, which is crazy because, yeah, Florida's coming in with a heavy forecheck. But the reason we have those guys and have been so proud of those guys is because they move the puck up the ice quickly. Carlo, which is not known for moving the puck quickly, but clears the front of the net, has been horrid at puck movement, still does his job standing in front of Ullmark, blocking shots and getting in the way. I don't want to take that away from him, but he was the direct cause of 2 goals tonight. What are we doing? What are we doing? And after this game, Monty had some comments that made it seem like he was ready to change up the lines. Great. No in-game adjustments, though? None? I'm so disappointed because this feels like a loss that didn't have to happen. And maybe this is a good get punched in the mouth moment for this team, but I'm not comfortable with what we just saw. And I still think the Bruins win this series. I'm not like downtrodden completely, but if we're going to talk directly after a game like that, I'm going to tell you how I feel. And that was some fucking bullshit. With Chara as the banner captain, with Russ Hoyt as well. You did that in front of Chara, man. You just did that in front of Chara. Unacceptable. Well, if you appreciated the rant, like, comment, subscribe, I guess. Puck drops, and 46 seconds in, the crowd starts chanting Lion. Great. Hasn't even had to make a save yet, and they're chanting Lion. That was that one worked out well for us. The signs were there right away. 3:47 in, Bertuzzi with a blatant, terrible turnover just chucks it right to Luosterainen. Right to Tkachuk, who then just bumps it forward to Luosterainen, who has a year in front of Ullmark. Just gets to stand there, handle the puck, and somehow Ullmark just stays patient and makes this save. And about midway through the first period, the Panthers are really bringing it to us, but they are being rough and tough. And I gotta say, sure, the ice is getting evened out a little bit by the fact that the whistles are being put away quite a bit, but I don't want to hear a single complaint about the refs because our goals against were completely self-inflicted, and our lack of being able to create goals for is completely self-inflicted. Like, this is not the refs' fault. Do I think the lack of calls on certain things, which they miss calls on both sides, is going to affect certain games? Absolutely welcome to playoff hockey. Last game was far more atrocious. This game was just, it was so self-inflicted. So self-inflicted. Lomberg is going to go for cross-checking on Marchand. We're going to go to power play, no dice on it, about midway through the first. And with 1:08 left of the period, Pasta is taken down by Forsling. Tripping call, go into the power play, and it's a shorthanded chance basically immediately for Barkov, who goes across the crease, and somehow Ullmark gets the pad there. It stays 0-0. We're going to end the period 0-0. I mean, Ullmark really did make some huge saves. This game wasn't on him. He let in some stuff that you don't usually see, so, like, yes, you don't love it. He wasn't flawless, but I'm just not going to sit here and act like this game was on him. We're going to start the second period. 52 seconds of power play. No dice. And then we get to enjoy a fun shift of turnover after turnover after turnover. Just horrid. 1:42 into the period. And it all peaks with Carlo, who's on the right wall, just throws it into the one place he couldn't. If he chucked it back, we would have been fine. Chucked it directly to the slot, would have been fine. Cleared out of the zone, the smart thing, would have been fine. Nope, he just chips it directly at Tkachuk on the blue line. The only Panther on the blue line. And so he knocks it down and says thanks and chips it forward, and Bennett is there to corral it and somehow gets it to squeak through Ullmark's 5-hole. But hey, Ullmark had 2.1 seconds to prepare for this, as that was a horrible turnover by Carlo. And shortly after this, by the way, Carlo has the puck on the left wall of the offensive zone. And instead of zero net front presence right now, Marchand is alone in the middle of the slot, completely alone. And Carlo panics and throws it glove side on Lyon for an easy whistle. But why is this team panicking? What about this season makes this team feel that they need to panic? Jesus. I don't think Carlo should come out of the lineup. A lot of you do. I don't think he should. I think Grizz should be back in the lineup, but a lot of you don't like Grizz either. We have 7 defensemen. We got to go with one you don't like if you don't like either of them. I want someone to tell Carlo to stop, dude. Just stop. Anyway, so it's 1-0. Orlov directly after misses an open net. So, I mean, it might just not be our night, right? No, that wasn't it. It was self-inflicted. This wasn't a, bad puck luck night. It wasn't. We did it to ourselves. 11:27 left. Forbort gets outskated and ends up hooking White. So we're going to go to the penalty kill. We kill it. 8:22 left. Lindholm is going to go for tripping. Penalty kill. 40 seconds into the penalty kill. And Nosek is going to create this opportunity. He's going to force the puck out. He's going to chase it down. He is going to go in on Duclair on that right wall. And he's going to force a bad pass. And they turn over. This was them, self-inflicted. And he goes right to Marchand at the top of the slot. He skates down Main Street and goes low glove side just over the pad. 1-1. Short-handed goal. We kill the rest of the penalty. We are back in it. And then 5:42 left of the period. It's lazy back-checking by Pasta after we turn it over. But hey, lazy back-checking leads to a 4-on-3. And Clifton is tied up with White in front of Ullmark. A very legal pick play. I saw some people complaining about this. Nope, we love that play for us. We hate when we see it against us. But a very legal pick play as one player drives to the net. Clifton gets tied up with him. Forbort doesn't recognize this and continues to glide over to the left to cover another Panther player who would have an incredibly sharp angle shot if they decided to pass this. And what this means is Pasta's late to the back check. I believe it's got to be Krejci, is in the corner covering a guy behind the play. Bertuzzi's not there, and so Stahl just gets to walk right down the slot and pick blocker's side. And it's 2-1, just like that. And it's hard to put it all on Forbort because I named multiple people who could have backchecked, could have been there. But Forbort was covering no one, just caught in no man's land. Because again, that would have been, I mean, you give away the slot so that you could cover a 6-degree angle shot? What the fuck? Anyway, so he realized it too late, tried to jump in. No, he picks his spot, and it's 2-1. Stahl. Fucking Stahl, of all people. 4:59 left. Lomberg for slashing. Power play time. And after a minute 50 of a terrible power play, horrendous, the puck is flung to Zacha on the right circle. And Zacha is going to miss the net by about 4 feet. But luckily, Bertuzzi is taking the hits in front of Lyon to be in the dirty area where you need to be to score goals in the playoffs. If someone would tell them this, that would be great. And it goes off his foot and in. Puck luck. We got to bounce. We're getting bounces, and we're losing games like this. 2-2. We're tied up. Power play goal. Good for Bertuzzi, who's actually been really good through 2 games. Has actually been really good while working with the anchors that are Krejci and Pasternak. Isn't that weird to say right now? And is it fair to blame Pasta in this mix? Yes. He's talented enough to create for himself, and he's a non-factor 5-on-5 playing against a team full of people who have been negatives defensively all season long. I don't understand why we're taking such a casual approach to these games. There's so much on the line this season. I didn't think we were going to need a reminder of what's important this year. I didn't think so. I didn't think we'd get an effort like this. And there's no way you can convince me that there was not some laziness, some just uncoordinated, unthoughtful play all over the place. Unless it was the flu. Unless the flu's still ripping through. God, I hope that's what it was and nothing else. Still have faith in this team. Still believe we're winning this series, but fuck, that was brutal. 23 seconds left of the period. Bertuzzi and Tkachuk are going for slashing and cross-checking. We're going 4-on-4 for about a minute 40 start of the third period. In 22 seconds in, Montour just flings this from the inside of the left point. He's given all the time in the world to set this up, and he just picks top blocker corner. Ullmark appears to be screened by Barkov and McAvoy. Fine, doesn't pick it up in time. It's a perfect shot. Still one that you're surprised to see go in. But it's 3-2, and there's still so much time left in the third. And the third period has been your bread and butter this whole season. 20 seconds left of the 4v4. Hall gets wabopped by a Stahl high stick. And we're going to a power play 4-on-3 for 20 seconds, and then 5-on-4 for the next minute 40. Pasta misses an open net during it. McAvoy goes crossbar and out, and we have decent movement, but no dice. And 4:30 in, McAvoy and Hall have a 2-on-1, and the defender covers pass the entire time. I mean the entire time. Never once even approaches McAvoy. He had all the time to put it on his forehand and either shoot or skate directly in on line and make a move. Could have done either one. Had all the time in the world to do so. Instead, with all the room in the world, decides to force the pass. Never even gets to Hall. I don't know where the confidence of this team is. What about the last 3 weeks told you had to be a team that lacked confidence in your shot, that felt they needed to force plays? We're confident in the weirdest ways. Defensively, we're barely doing our jobs because we're confident. But then offensively, we don't have the balls to take a shot? I don't get it. I'm just so confused. I'm being too harsh. I know I'm being too harsh. 7:30 in, McAvoy, time with the puck on the left wall, and waits and waits and waits, and Bennett comes crashing in and forces, I don't like this term here, forces a turnover, because McAvoy waited for him. McAvoy chucks it diagonal up to the center of the blue line. Tkachuk, once again, I believe, is the one who bats this down, and he is going to skate in, dish it off to Verhaeghe, who has an open net. Ullmark tries to get across and get the legs up. Does not work, and it's 4-2. Another pass, another turnover. Another one that goes directly into the back of our net. 10:55 left. Bertuzzi and Bennett cross-checking and roughing 4v4. Seventh, that's going to have nothing to happen during it. 7:30 left. Another face-off loss. We were really bad in the face-off dot. Montour just get to blast it. It has eyes through some bodies, and it's going to be top glove corner, 5-2. Luosterainen is going to get an empty netter. It's going to be 6-2. 1:44 left. It's going to be Cousins and Hathaway get into it after Stahl takes a big hit from Nosek. I believe there's elbowing. I honestly haven't even seen the replay. I was so, over it at this point. But I do believe Nosek may have elbowed him. There might be some supplemental stuff there. I'm not honestly sure. 1:10 left. A good bounce for us. Gets it off the left wall. Foligno bumps it over to Hall. Hall gets a stick on it. Again, he barely... This shouldn't even have gone in. But it somehow squeaks through Lyon. It's 6-3. Bunch of whistles with 3 seconds left. Bunch of guys square off. Lomberg and Freddie are being held apart by a ref. And Lomberg manages to land one over the ref. And to reward him, Freddie beats his head into the ice. So that was kind of fun to watch, at least. And 6-3 is your final. Series tied, 1-1. This sucks. Game notes. Game notes. Who's matching up with the Barkov line? Because they're doing a great job. The Barkov line hasn't been able to create really anything through this series. And I think that's huge. I really am. I'm impressed by that. They're getting outchanced frequently. They haven't been able to really score any goals. It's been a really good showing for them. Now, the second line, the Tkachuk, Bennett, Verhaeghe line, is great. So that's a problem. But the Barkov line has been completely snuffed out. And the line going against them is the Zacha line. And I actually really like what the Zacha line's been doing. I thought the first and third line were actually pretty good tonight. They were. The second line, horrible. And yes, you can be like, well, but Bertuzzi, well, it's not fair to Pasta. I don't care. The end result of the line is they're creating very, very, very little offense and are getting absolutely hemmed into our zone and caved and giving up chances left and right. So, I don't care what's fair or not about it right now. That line stuck together the whole game, 0 changes, and was horrible the whole game. I don't know who we're making excuses for right now, because it damn sure shouldn't be Monty. 0 in-game changes? Really? Maybe he just kept expecting the team to lock it in. It didn't, and there was no wake-up call coming. None. Just brutal. But I do want to shout out the top line and the third line. I said the Coyle line would feast this series, and they really have done everything you'd ask them to do right now. They are forcing the puck into the offensive zone. I think their puck luck will change a little bit. They've been great. And the top line has been really good. DeBrusk needs to wake up a little bit. He misses Bergeron, who fucking wouldn't. But they've been good. But the Krejci line is the other note. You know what's even crazier? No one is taking the majority of shifts against the Krejci line. I was like, why isn't Monty freeing them up against a different line? We're dictating the matchups. Everyone's shutting them down. Everyone is shutting them down. I don't think they have a positive chance, percentage against any line they've been playing against. And they get a handful of minutes against, every line. That line has to change. I don't know what you need to do, whether it's swap Krejci and Zacha or maybe change the wings up a little bit. But we need to free up Pasternak. If you need to drop DeBrusk a line and go, well, the second line was getting caved anyway, might as well put a better defensive forward on that line and chuck Pasta up with Zacha and Marchand, fine, do it. That's a better result than what we're getting right now. That line is getting crushed, and they're not creating enough transition, which is what they're usually good at, because they can't even get into the neutral zone. And when they do, they turn the puck over early in the neutral zone. It's a scoring chance back the other way. It's been so bad through 2 games. It's scary bad when you're on home ice. Last thing, last note. I'm sorry it's so negative, but this has to be a negative video. What are we doing effort-wise? The forecheckers are late. There was one play that I didn't even point out midway through the third where Lindholm was in on a puck offensively. He created a turnover like he was in the zone offensively. We weren't having a line change. There was no line change going on. He was down on the left wall, and he looked over his shoulder to feed anyone. And there wasn't a single player past 2 feet within the blue line. Everyone was up at the top. No one had gotten in the slot yet. All the defenders were high. Like, there was nothing. There was no play to be made because no one skated with him. He wasn't way ahead of the play. He's fucking Lindholm, the defenseman. No one's joining the rush in time. No one's getting in on the forecheck in time. Both of those things are very true, and it's a huge reason why, yes, we've scored 6 goals through 2 games. That's not the worst thing in the world. But if you're going to look at the goals scored and go, oh yeah, that's a sign of a team that's working offensively right now, you're full of shit. Like, it's just, that's not true. We've gotten a couple lucky bounces. We've gotten power play goals. But 5-on-5, we aren't creating much at all. And Lyons is having a very easy time. This was a very easy game for him. It has not been good. Look, I believe in this team. And I believe that we are going to win game 3 and we are going to put together a really great effort. But this game, I didn't think needed to happen. I didn't think you needed a reminder of what's at stake. And I just didn't expect such a lackluster effort. This is disappointing. And the fans should be disappointed. Like, what the fuck was that? It's 1 game, though. So reason it's a 7-game series. I believe in this team. And hey, maybe this will be a good thing in the long run because it woke them up. Which, again, I can't believe we even need to say. But hey, I believe in them. You gotta believe in them. But this was not an optimistic video, unfortunately. Go Bees. Go Bees!